talk about AI readiness. So, the question I have for you, and the thing that I've been pondering is, are we ready as an organization for AI, and are we getting better in the readiness process? So, what's your perspective? And I know when we talked before this recording here, I know that we talked about the different countries and that it may vary depending on the countries, but you have some really unique perspectives when it comes to AI readiness. I'd like to hear more about that.
Okay. When we say AI ready, we have to segregate this for large companies, small companies, solopreneurs, and government. I learned that we have to segregate this for public sector and private sector. So we cannot adopt one definition for AI readiness. The mistake that a lot of consultants are making is that we walk with one framework and we walk into federal and non-federal and small companies and we say, follow this framework. And if you achieve this score, you're AI ready. And someone needs to develop a scale for public sector, private sector, large companies, small companies, service providers. Someone needs to come up with a scale from 0 to 100. So a country I was telling you about, a country like Bulgaria did this, and they came up with a scale for public sector organizations in Bulgaria, and they said between 0 to 100, are you ready? And if you're like 0 to 20, well, you got a lot of work to do. And if you're 20 to 50, if you're 50 to 80, so they looked at most of the public sector companies and they said most of them were like 49. A lot of them fell 49 out of 100 because they were constrained by infrastructure. They were limited by their infrastructure. So I was trying to like let you know before that my fear is that in this country, if I walked into a government agency, what would they say? Right? If I and they have their own they got FedRAMP rules. They got all these rules. So even if I say they're AI ready, FedRAMP will say no, or some other regulation will say no. So if I walk into a large company and give them this scale, what will they say? So we need a maturity model. I'm big on maturity models because when I did legal tech, we had a maturity model. We had our own maturity model and call for e-discovery. And we would walk into a company and say, I'm going to ask you these questions. And based on how you answer it, I'm going to tell you if you're mature or not. How many people do you think couldn't answer those questions? Simple questions on preservation and legal hold and all this stuff. And they thought they were ready. So if I walked in and asked questions, real questions, Pamela, real questions on how often do you test? At what stage do you test? How many iterations do you do? Um, how many people have true AI literacy in your company? If I ask everyone these questions and compile the score for them, I'm afraid most of us are going to be in the low 40s, low 40s or 50s. There might be a few smaller companies who are ready and they're up into 80. I don't think there's anyone who's going to be 90 and above. And that's just my personal opinion.